My name is Miki. I'm originally from Irvine, California. I have been in Tokyo for nearly 2 years now. I'm an editor here in Tokyo, and I'm 28 years old. I think it's important that you know that I'm a young person who is like super enthusiastic about national health care. It's, you know, and I know that it's only going to get more and more important the older I get. So okay, so my first healthcare story is that last year I started having pain in my breast, and it really worried me. I don't have any family history of breast cancer, but you know, it never is a good sign when you feel something that you're not supposed to feel. So I went to my general doctor, who is great. He's like an authorized doctor for the UN, so top level of care. And I told him I was having this pain, and so he referred me to, we sat there and we talked for a long time figuring out like what could this be. So that we tried a couple different things. He suggested a couple different things. First, he sent me to a dentist to get a night guard because I grind my teeth and I clench my jaw a lot at night. And he said it could be related to nerve pain. Then he said, also, in addition to that, just to make sure we're covering all our bases, I want you to go get an MRI. And, you know, we'll see if we see anything. So I went to the dentist, which that's like a whole other story, but I love going to the dentist here. And I got a night guard, and the whole thing to get my night guard custom made, the fittings, everything, polishing, all this stuff was like $75 equivalent. And in the States, I had gotten one before I moved to Japan that only fit on your front two teeth. And that one piece cost me $500 because I didn't have dental insurance in the States. And when that one didn't work, my dentist in the States had said, you need to get a different kind because for like 10% of people, that one in the front doesn't work. And that would have cost me $700. So I never got it because it's $700, you know? So this one cost me $75. It didn't take care of the pain, and I was scheduled for the MRI. So I went for the MRI. I went to this really nice center, like where they do imaging. It was a very pleasant experience. I took a nap in the MRI and came out, and I paid another like $70. And I've heard that MRIs in the States, even with insurance, can be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So, so that was already a positive experience. I got the MRI back still. There was nothing showing up on it, but the pain was still there. So he said, okay, we're going to send you to the hospital and you can see a specialist and all this stuff. So I go to this international hospital here in Tokyo. And in Tokyo, they give you, at the hospital, when you go to the hospital, you get sort of like an ID card, that's yours, personalized, and you keep it all the time, and every time you go back to that hospital, you use that same card. And you put it in, and they have your whole record and all that stuff. So they gave me this card, and I went in and I waited, and I had an appointment with the nurse who spoke English. I'm always insistent that all of my healthcare, I deal with people in English, because my Japanese is just not good enough to really feel like I'm communicating what I need to communicate, or that I can really understand what they're telling me. So I had an appointment with the nurse, and I told her what the problem was, and she asked me questions, and then she said, okay, wait a minute, and then I'll tell you what the doctor said. The doctor recommended that I get a mammogram. And I had never had a mammogram, of course, because I'm like, at that time, I'm 27 or whatever. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really painful. And she's like, well, the only thing is that to get the mammogram is more expensive. So that's when it clicked in, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a couple $100. I'm like, how much is it going to be? She said, maybe 4,000 yen, which is like $40. So I was like, take it. That's like pocket change compared to American healthcare prices. I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. That's the recommended procedure, and it's more thorough. So I did that, all in the same place, right? So I go and I do the mammogram. I go back and I wait for to see the doctor this time, because she's going to examine the film from the mammogram like right away. I get called in. She also speaks English. She examines the mammogram. She tells me there's nothing there. Then she did a physical breast exam. Nothing there. And she was saying that, it could be from my bras, or it could be just hormones, and just to keep checking. But at this time, like with all the checks that they did, and when I went to the original doctor, he also did a breast exam and he couldn't feel anything. So I mean, I'm getting all this care. So I go, so clean bill of health basically, but change my bras and see if that helps or not. And I go to check out, and I'm kind of worried, like, gosh, I've had like all these procedures, I've seen the doctor, I've seen the nurse, and I put the card in, and it said the equivalent of basically $35. I was like, okay, there's something wrong here, like they didn't add something. And I put it into the machine again, and it said $35 again, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, there's something wrong with the machine. So I go to the counter, because you don't even have to go to the counter if you don't want to. You can just literally like put cash into the machine like a vending machine, and you just get your change back and you leave. You don't have to wait, it's nothing. But so I go to the counter and I ask them to get someone who speaks English. Takes them a few minutes, but they come back with someone who speaks English, and I'm like, I think there's a problem. This is only charging me $35, and I did all this stuff, and I think it's supposed to be more. And they're like, they checked the card and they went through, it was $35. And so I paid $35. I just couldn't believe, like, I spent that day at the hospital. I mean, I was going to different offices, and it wasn't like a hassle of going to different offices. It was very clear where I'm supposed to go. Like, okay, next you go to this place, and there's a map, and here's exactly how you get there, and all this stuff. And it's $35. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, the other thing that's important to note for that time is that I wasn't working. I was a freelancer. So I didn't have a lot of money, but I was like, okay, this is obviously worth it to spend the money in case there really is a problem. And so it was completely, I didn't have to worry, like, am I going to pay rent this month? Am I going to be able to buy groceries? Am I going to be able to pay for my utilities? I don't have a landline phone. All I have is my cell phone. Can I pay my cell phone bill? Like, it's $35. And this is actually the second national healthcare system I've lived in, because I used to live in France, and both experiences have been and were great. Anyway, in the States, I don't have dental insurance. So when I go and get my teeth cleaned, I have to pay, out of pocket. It's $100 or $120, something like that, right? And you're supposed to go ideally once every 6 months. So I usually would go once every 6 months, but every once in a while, I kind of let it slide. Maybe I go once a year or something, but I have good teeth, and I want to keep them until I die. So I'm trying to like be good about keeping them clean, now. So in Japan, though, I do. Under our national healthcare system here, everything is covered. So I have dental care here. And the first time I went to get my teeth cleaned, it's kind of a weird system, but basically I had to go for 2 occasions. And they cleaned the top teeth on the first time, and then they cleaned the bottom teeth on the second time. And the first time, and they do this like really cool like sand blasting thing basically that like smooths your teeth, but it's with salt water. Anyway, it's the most high-tech dentist I've ever been to. I love going there. I feel like I'm on a spa in a spaceship or something. It's great. And the dentist speaks perfect English. So the first cleaning cost me like $20 basically. The second cleaning cost me, so for the lower teeth, cost me $5. So total, to get my whole mouth perfectly, like intricately clean, the woman spent 45 minutes on each set basically, right? So an hour and a half of cleaning total. Great service, high tech, all this stuff was $25. And it was some of the best service I've ever had, and I got to choose that dentist. I didn't have to, worry about like, is this company, is he affiliated with this company, this insurance company, whatever. It was a really good experience, and I can go back every 3 months. And so I do. My teeth are really clean, and right now I live in Japan, and I go and I get my teeth cleaned every 3 months because I can. Because it's cheap, and I want to keep my teeth forever.